And the first year we took 3,000 calls. Now we take over 4,000 calls a month, and that's an average. Some months are up to 6,000 calls, depending on what's going on in the community. So monthly average is about 4,404 calls per month. Busy place. So here's how you update your agency. We do ask that you do this periodically. Like we have in here, check your spam folder. Sometimes our emails get caught in that firewall with your organization. You can do the next slide. So these are some of our collaborations that we have been working with for quite a long time. We're really active with Office of Emergency Management. That stems from all of the disasters our area has had over the years. So we work very closely with 911. We're available during emergencies to take the burden off the 911 lines with not life and death kind of situations. In March of 19, I'm dating myself now, 2020, we were contacted by the health department to run their COVID hotline. They called us to ask us if they could put us in their phone tree. I said, sure. How long do I have to prep my team? And they said 10 minutes. So needless to say, COVID was very prominent for the first 3 years. We're still taking COVID calls periodically. Department of Social Services, we collaborated with them for the ERAP program, the Emergency Rental Assistance Program. We would screen callers and then set up appointments for them so that they could actually sit with someone, go through the process, and they would help them upload documents and all those kinds of things. The Food Bank of the Southern Tier has been a really interesting collaboration. We take the registrations for the mobile food pantries for Broome and Tioga counties. We're taking probably up to 10 mobile sites per month. So it's really hopping in here. We can usually get through about 150 to 200 intakes in about 45 minutes. It's fast and it's furious. This year, once again, we partnered with Catholic Charities for the Thanksgiving basket signups. That partnership started during COVID because of no contact. You didn't want to be in large groups of people. So we stepped up and said we could do those. This year we registered 2,808 families, and we're still getting calls. And we work with the Bandera Family Christmas Dinner Delivery Program. That usually runs about 500 people that are requesting dinner deliveries on Christmas Day. It's for folks that are disabled, shut in, transportation issues. So we're really busy with that right now as well. And our partnership with the VITA program, in which we screen and set appointments for VITA, the Volunteer Income Tax Assistance Program, at 3 locations and 3 of the AARP sites as well. Next slide.
Thank you, Candace. We're going to hand it over to Lynette to talk a little bit about marketing and Volunteer HQ.
Hey, my name is Lynette. I'm the Marketing and Volunteer Engagement Specialist here at United Way. This is Volunteer HQ. It is a volunteer database that we run here at the United Way office. And it is what we also use for our days of service. And outside of the days of service, agencies can sign up and create volunteer needs that people can sign up for online. So they can have their own database and their own kind of volunteers and add hours and such. And it's a very helpful way to keep everything organized in terms of volunteers. There's currently 76 local agencies on the HQ platform and over 1,700 registered volunteers. As said, there is easy onboarding, and if anyone ever has any questions, one-on-one meetings can be organized in order to explain the onboarding process or any questions that someone might have on Volunteer HQ or running an agency in Volunteer HQ. It can generate reports on volunteers, and it is a platform for our days of service. And there's also social media integration in a way that you can create a link to the volunteer need, and that link can be used on your social media posts. So you can advertise that you have a volunteer need and how you can, and then people can sign up for that need online. So you can have all their information organized so you can contact them afterwards. Go on to the next slide. So these are kind of collages that I created for our Day of Action and Day of Caring. These are all pictures from this past year, from both days of service. And for our Day of Action, we did get over 220 volunteers helping, and they did a great impact on all the agencies that were involved. Same thing with Day of Caring, where we got over 430 volunteers involved. Totaling to over 650 volunteers for just our days of service. As I said before, Volunteer HQ is also used year-round for other long-term and short-term volunteer needs. Any agency can sign up, and if you have any questions, you can contact me. I'm pretty sure my information will be available somewhere. And
Lynette, do you want to talk a little bit about the book drive for Day of Action?
Sure. I thought I got that out of my head. I thought I recovered. The book drive for Day of Action. Before I go in there, we do have drives for each of our days of service. And for Day of Action, we hosted a book drive where we got new and used books, gently used books, in order to give out to initially, I think just 3 organizations, and then that number increased because the number of books that we got was over 8,000 books. So it was a whole kind of race of how many books we can give out to who would accept books, but lots of organizations ranging from daycares to libraries to shelters to even the Broome County jail system also got new books. It was very, very successful. And before I stopped counting how many books got let out, because we even invited people to come in and just take books because that's how many books we had. We gave out around 3,500 books to agencies. And yeah, that is our book drive. And honestly, since we're talking about drives, I just finished up counting our hygiene drive, which was moderately smaller than our book drive, but I think it was still successful. We got 775 items in total. Like, this is things I counted, like from lotions to toothbrushes and such. And those will be going to various agencies that help people in need, that whether they're getting any free showers or hygiene closets and so on. So that is my update on those drives.
Thanks, Lynette. And then we're going to hand it over to Tom to talk a little bit about campaign.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thanks for joining us today. We certainly hope you're all aware that our community campaign for 2023-2024 is we are in the hunt. We are hoping to raise $1.72 million this year. Again, you guys, we take our job very seriously, trying to raise as many dollars as possible, so that you guys can all continue the great work you guys do. And we hope those of you who attended our annual meeting are aware that our campaign cabinet of community volunteers this year is being led by the brothers, Andrew and Michael Matsushima of Kampai Japanese Steakhouse. So if you happen to be at Kampai, which is right across the street from us, and you happen to see the two brothers, please say hello and tell them how grateful you are, because they are doing a great job for us. and they are really committed to making sure we surpass goal this year. And I'm sure you guys are well. So we really appreciate your involvement in the campaign. We do often get questions whether our funded partners participate in the campaign. And we do think that sends a very important message to all Broome County people who are considering a gift. When we can say that, 90% of our agencies conduct an employee campaign. And I just want to say very quickly, we are not, my big joke is, again, we don't ask you to raise $1 million, but if you happen to raise $1 million, we will accept it. We understand that it may just be you putting out a jug for people to put their spare change in and, counting it up and dropping it off or having us pick it up. Much of our campaign is based on people giving $1 a paycheck or $2 a paycheck. All that, of course, United works to help support all our funded programs and partners. Again, I can't tell you, we are working very hard, and you'll hear a little bit more about some of the new ways in which we're reaching out to try to ensure dollars come in. I'm sure I don't have to tell anyone of you who conducts fundraising, how difficult, how things have changed, since COVID and for other reasons as well. So next slide, please. So one way in which we are attempting to reach new people to tell them about all the great things that happen at United Way, we are next Friday evening, we are having a team trivia with musical clues competition at the American Legion post. You are able to register your team. We would love to have our funded partner agencies there compete against each other. And again, these dollars are specifically going to go to a funding initiative called Mission United to support veterans, active duty military, and their families. But again, overall, the United Way message, which really means all of you guys, is important for people to know. So we want to get them out to, and we hope you will join us, get a team together, and it should be a lot of fun. Andy Papaleo from AP Entertainment apparently has a great following, so we're really excited about this event. So this event is coming up, and stay tuned. We will have other events as well.
Thank you, Tom. Just going to give a quick update on our Healthy Lifestyles Coalition. As many of you know, we do operate a community center on the north side of Binghamton, which is really the headquarters for our Healthy Lifestyles Coalition, which creates health interventions for folks living on the north and east sides of Binghamton. Lots of great things happened over the last year. Our team has really gotten into leveraging the garden boxes in the Vines gardens on our street. So we're able to grow a whole bunch of produce this year to give out during our food pantry. Like many of you who provide food to the community, we have seen demand for that pantry double over the last 6 months. In the past, a busy week would look like serving 15 families. We are now serving 30 families every single week. Our Fresh Cycles program, which is basically our nonprofit bike shop, is still operating in our basements. This year, we are not planning to close for the winter season. So if you know any folks who are interested in getting their bike fixed for free or enrolling in our Earn a Bike program, those will still be available. And we've just been able to host a lot of cool special events. So the photo on the far left is our Kickin' It at Lee Barta event, where we were able to offer pantry families sneakers for their kids for the back to school season. And we were also able to partner with Fairbanks Karate to do a karate demo in our parking lot, which I think is probably one of the coolest things we've ever done. So I would definitely recommend subscribing, following us on Facebook, just so you can see the events that are coming up, the programs that are coming up. Our team is very, very interested in collaborating with other agencies as it relates to the work being done out of that building. So feel free to contact me if you'd like more information. And I'm going to hand it over to Paula to talk a little bit about our 23-27 strategic plan.
Okay, I'm talking away and I'm on mute. So thanks, Lindsay. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for coming today. And very excited. I guess I'm supposed to introduce myself. Forgot that part too. I'm Paula Perna. I'm the executive director at the United Way of Broome County. And we spent about 8 to 9 months as a team working on our 4-year strategic plan that we launched in July of this year. You can go right to the next slide, Lindsay. So we came up with 4 big goals that we call them. The first one was harness the power of giving. And some of the strategies under this, I think Tom kind of mentioned it a little bit, our campaign fund development plan. You know, year over year, our campaign has been declining, a large part due to workplace. Like Tom said, it's, you know, with COVID and with people working remote and hybrid now, it's not as easy to go in, and share the information about the United Way and the nonprofits in the community. So we were trying to be creative on things that we could do. And one of those was embracing new technologies. One of the big ones, which we just launched, is our new Harness Text to Give app, which is very exciting. We're hoping to use that quite a bit over the next year or 4 years and beyond. We also, a really big one is diversifying our revenue for campaign. Workplace campaigns, like I said, have gone down. So we want to be able to increase funding so that our community partners can continue to do the great work that they're doing in the community. So we want to hold more events. We want to do, we plan to do a large scale spring event, and this would be a community fundraiser. So raising money for campaign to go back out into the community. We're also looking at more grant opportunities than we ever did before to support campaign, and also implementing new affinity groups such as Mission United, like Tom talked about. That's a program that will support Broome County veterans, active duty military, and their families. You can go to the next slide, Lindsay. Our second goal was driving community collaboration and impact. One of the big things, strategies, is creating a professional development committee that's comprised of local nonprofits so that they can work on creating recurring opportunities for nonprofit professionals to help build capacity of our nonprofits. It also includes the development of an executive director leadership academy, which we will be launching in January. There'll be more to come on that. I'll be sending something out to all of the organizations on that. And of course, Lindsay's favorite, the implementation of our results-based accountability framework, which she's going to cover more next, I believe. We're also looking at expanding our HLC footprint. Currently, the Healthy Lifestyles Coalition, like Lindsay said, is on the north and east side of Binghamton is where we focus. But the model is working wonderfully, and we are looking to expand that to other high needs areas across Broome County. And of course, we are always looking to increase awareness of 211, most importantly. So intentionally, our third big goal is to intentionally invest in equity work. We put together an equity and inclusion advisory council made up of community volunteers. We've already held several meetings. They are going to help drive our equity work throughout our journey. One of the big things that is coming out of that is also our United for Equity Fund. This fund will be a grant application. It'll focus on grassroots community-based organizations that directly address current and legacy concerns of communities that are disproportionately impacted by inequity and lack of access. So we're very excited about that. The RFP for that is expected to be released in February. We also are working on building an equity-minded culture, both internally and externally, through offering different opportunities for professional development around equity, for the community, for nonprofits, and internally for our staff and board as well. And then number 4 is enhancing, you know, we do all this work on the outside. We want to make sure that we are ready and capable to help and support in any way we can. So our last one is to enhance our operational excellence. You know, strengthening our operations, our efficiency, our productivity to better serve the community. We meet regularly on this, our strategic plan. It is a living document. All staff are accountable for its success. And we are so looking forward to working with all of you over the coming months and years to implement all of these. And I just want to say thank you to all of you for the great work that you do every day in the community.
Thank you, Paula. As Paula talked about, I'm going to quickly talk about RBA and the impact agenda updates. I know we're getting close to time, so I will try to breeze through this a little bit. For those of you who were on our update session last year, you know that we were in the process of hosting our community conversation series. So shout out to all of our wonderful facilitators, represented a plethora of organizations in our community, as well as the folks who came out and took notes for that. This really allowed us to gather feedback from the community in terms of what their vision was for the future, what are some of the challenges they're facing, and what are some of the things that they're excited about that give them hope, that they think that we can leverage as we move forward to kind of build that vision. So in total, we had 134 community members who came to those in-person community conversations. And then we also had 124 folks respond to a survey that asked kind of similar guiding questions in terms of strengths, current challenges, things they're excited about. So we took all of that feedback and we met with our wonderful partners over the course of 4 meetings and walked through the results-based accountability framework. This is a framework that moves step by step from ends. So essentially, what is that vision that the community is asking for within each of our priority areas? And it works towards means. So working through revising that vision statement all the way to developing strategies to address the challenges in our community. The key concept of this is this concept of turning the curve. Essentially, once you have a vision for the community, you select community-wide indicators that you will use to determine whether or not you are moving in the right direction towards that vision. This is great because it's going to let us really gauge what the collective impact of our work together is as we move forward. And it will let us know if we need to do any adjusting as we move forward. Also creates a very strong case for investment from donors, which will in turn bolster our community campaign. That was like the quick 1-minute explanation of it. If that is interesting to you, we will be talking about this more in terms of how we went from community conversations to that updated impact agenda that you've probably seen in our new RFP. During tomorrow's RFP walkthrough, that'll be at 1 o'clock virtually. And then we just want to talk a little bit about what's next. So some dates to remember. Again, I'll move through this pretty quickly as well. Tomorrow is that RFP walkthrough. The RFP walkthrough is mandatory to attend. So you can either attend the virtual option tomorrow on the 9th or the in-person option on November 30th, which will be at our office. If you have questions about how to register for that, please feel free to email myself or Tim. But all of you should have received links for that. If you were able to register for the conference, you probably know where those registrations are as well. Tomorrow night is also our networking opportunity at Beer Tree Factory. If for some reason you didn't register, but you're interested in coming, please feel free to come anyway. We'll have food. You'll be able to purchase drinks. So it should be a good time to just have some face-to-face contact with each other, despite the mostly virtual conference that we're having. As Tom mentioned, November 17th is our team trivia event. So you can register for that through our website. November 30th is that second RFP walkthrough date, the in-person one. LOIs, if you are applying to the Strategic Community Priorities Grant, are due December 1st. We're offering office hours December 14th, and the full applications are due January 26th. All of that information is on our website under funding opportunities, so you're welcome to review that there as well. Capacity building. We don't have a specific release date for this yet, but our team is hard at work on updating that RFP. to release sometime in early February. Additionally, as Paula talked about, we are really excited to finally launch our equity fund. So the RFP for that is again in process right now. Our board and our equity inclusion committee are taking a peek at that and giving us some feedback. But that is also scheduled to release in early February. Finally, another thing Paula talked about, the Executive Director Leadership Academy is launching in January, so you will be receiving more information about that as well, if that applies to you. And we have to end with our big thank you, of course. So based off of the information that all of you provided when you set your target goals for the year, we are projecting that the total impact of all of our work together this year is going to impact the lives of over 85,000 Broome County residents. So it really is monumental, and this work is not possible with our partners who are boots on the ground every single day doing the work. And I think we are right at 1:30. Our team can hang on for a couple minutes if there are any questions about content we covered. And you can feel free to unmute or write that in the chat. We'll hang out for a minute or two in weird silence just to make sure.
It is weird silence.
Kim, do you want to plug our next session while we're waiting to see if folks have questions?
Yeah, of course. So in 30 minutes at 2, using the same exact link, George Holmesy from Binghamton University and NOMA will be coming and presenting on survey design. So he has many years of experience in creating surveys and collecting information from the community. So he'll be there to sort of impart that knowledge on best practices and better ways to do it. And I, as a former student of George's, I couldn't recommend his knowledge on surveys anymore. So.
And as Lindsay said, we'd love to see you at the networking event. I know I've heard so much over the past month how busy everyone is, and it's a strange busy. It's every person I talk to is just like, so many things are going on. I don't know which one to do first. And it would be nice to get with everybody and just, you know, kind of relax and hopefully not talk about work and just enjoy a couple drinks and good food with friends and colleagues.
All right, well, I'm not seeing any questions. I want to thank you all for coming to our first virtual session, for staying up to date on the work that our team is doing. And hopefully I will see you either at the session at 2 o'clock or one of our sessions tomorrow. Bye, everybody.
Hi, everybody.